Hello Mrs. Johnson, I was wondering if you could help me with one of my students? He has a learning disability called ADHD and I was hoping to learn some more about it so I can help him in the classroom.
Of course, I would love to help you learn more about ADHD. For starters, it is important to understand that ADHD is not a learning disability but a neurobehavioral disorder that can often impact a student's learning. In order to really understand ADHD, we have to learn more about the history of it.
In this video, you will learn about the history of ADHD. Beginning in 1798, Dr. Alexander Crichton wrote a chapter in a textbook that was titled The Diseases of Attention. In the 1950s and 60s, the terms minimal brain dysfunction and hyperkinetic reaction to childhood were introduced. In 1980, the term attention deficit disorder, or ADD, is introduced to describe an attention deficit which causes learning problems. Finally, in 1994, the term ADHD is coined, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. This included levels of severity as well as 3 subtypes.
That video was very helpful. I know that my student is a part of the combined subtype. Would you be able to tell me a little more about that subtype of ADHD?
A student in the combined subtype has expressed 6 or more symptoms from both of the other subtypes for at least 6 months, with an onset prior to the age of 7. The other 2 subtypes are predominantly inattentive, which has symptoms such as inattention, being unorganized, or being distracted, or predominantly hyperactive impulsive with symptoms like blurting out, restlessness, or always seeming on the go. Here are some statistics about ADHD.
Wow. I did not realize how many students have ADHD.
When diagnosing ADHD, it is important to remember that since it is not a learning disability, it can only be diagnosed by a licensed physician. This way the student can have access to academic services under the other health impairments category.
Why don't we listen to what a real professional, Dr. Russell Barkley, has to say about ADHD?
The real problem here is not restlessness, it is in fact inhibition. There is a failure to develop appropriate inhibition. There are 5 things delayed in the child. The ability to stop, to use visual imagery, to use your mind's voice, to use your mind's heart emotion and motivation, and when needed, planning and problem solving.
Thank you so much for all that helpful information. Do you have any tips that could help me to give this student a better academic experience?
Absolutely. Set clear and simple expectations, limit distractions, chunk work into smaller sized bits, highlight key points, let the student participate. Make sure to give the student time for breaks. As a teacher, it is important to know your students, and try to give them the best possible learning experience you can.
Wow. I learned so much helpful information about ADHD from this well thought out, professional, and informationally accurate 3+ minute animated video.